Hi guys! This week we're going to be focusing on kind of drawing our ideas onto paper, and our ideas are going to be coming from last week's video, which is going to be the fashion mood board. We're going to kind of just start sketching out our drawings, but to be able to understand that, we have to start drawing our figurines. So we're going to kind of just get the concept of the 9 head, which is the fashion doll, which is, you know, the figurine that you draw. And it's going to have the head, torso, the neck, arms, hips, legs, knees, everything, all the sizes. You're going to see it, and it's going to be it's going to be called a 9 head for a reason, and you'll see it in just a couple minutes. So and based off of like different fashion designers throughout the years, there has been let's see, Alexander McQueen, there has been Coco Chanel, very, very iconic when it comes to Gossip Girl, and one more, Versace. You see a lot of Versace at the Met Gala. Versace is very popular, and you know, since his sister took over after his death, you know, that kind of, I don't know, it exploded a little more because you got a little bit of the feminine touch, and I guess people saw more attention to that. She tried to keep the theme of their fabrics and their design alive, and it's pretty cool because then from there you can actually see who designs what. Why? Because their sense of style of like designing their own sketches, they have a certain style. Some people like to not put detail to the face. Some people don't like to put detail to proportions. They like to exaggerate. They like to either focus on those details, so it could be on the bust, it could be on the hip, waist, anything. So like if someone was focusing, like Versace, if they focus on Kardashians, they're going to be focusing on their bust and their hips because that's like their thing, the hips, the butt, right? So you know, each designer has their own style on how they did it, and I guess some of them could be like, let's see, Versace, he had his own style, but it was coming from him, not his sister. You can tell the difference from the two of them. And then Coco Chanel, she had hers very elegant, you know, very posturized, strong women, you could tell in these sketches. And then McQueen, his were very exaggerated proportions. They were because that's the way he was. He was a very abstract, like avant-garde, that's the word, avant-garde kind of designer. He always thought outside of the box. It was amazing. Actually, this design back here came from him, like his idea. I saw one that had the sleeves kind of sticking out. The dress that goes with it actually has shoulder pads, and it actually kind of looks like this. I'm actually really proud of this one. I put it in a fashion show for my school. But you know, less about me and more about drawing, so let's get to it. All right, so I guess the first thing we can kind of talk about is how people are used to drawing with. Some people are used to drawing with lead pencils, and with lead pencils there's different sizes. There's a 0.7, there's a 0.5, 0.9, and a 0.3. I love me a 0.3, especially when you're trying to just start off a light sketch. I really love it. It works really well, and you don't have to deal with the cheapy ones and how they click, and sometimes because they're so thick, it kind of creates this super thick line and it doesn't look cute at all. And especially when you're trying to erase and use the same paper and not trying to waste any paper, it really helps. And then there's also this one. This one is specifically for fashion students. Even people that are an architect work with these, and it's because the way these leads are, they create, it's like this whole stick of lead. And with this, you leave it sticking out just a little bit. And with this specific, you know, sharpener, it's really cool. It's this, you just put it in. You always try not to take out too much lead, because then if you take up too much, then it's gonna break and there's no point to you trying to sharpen it. So we'll keep it there, and you'll start hearing this. You kind of just circle around it. You just keep going, and then at some point it'll just stop. So it gets quiet. So then you just stop, and it actually takes out this amazing point. And then has this special thing on the sharpener that you can keep it at a fine point, or you can kind of dull the little tip out a little bit. So you can use this as much as you can to the fine point, or you can go through here and it's a little pop, like a little, and it just breaks the tip a little bit, so it flattens it out. And then, for example, any shavings that it creates, because this, the way it works, it kind of grinds it, and it's like a sharpener. It's slowly just grinding away different layers to make it fine point, and then you can just clean out the excess powder. But this little cushion thing that's right here, and it's awesome. This thing has been great when it comes to patterns, because you can get super clean, close lines. And then this one works too, because I mean, it keeps a thick blade, and you don't have a thick point, and you don't have to keep with a pencil like this and be so delicate with each little tip, because sometimes this, if you have a heavy hand, this can snap really easily with this point of lead. It's the 3-point lead, 0.3 lead, so it can be kind of hard. But I love it. It's really good. If you like it, you can invest. I think the sharpener costs more than the actual pencil. I think the sharpener costs like 15, and this pencil alone costs like 3, and then the lead costs about $8. So any art store would have it, so maybe a Blick or even Michael's, but Michael's might have a little bit more coupons with that stuff, so Michael's might be the place, especially when they have their deals. If not, there's even pencils like this that change the point every time, and they're sharpened, so you don't even have to worry about sharpening a pencil. And then I guess another tool that we would look into when we're drawing is a blending tool. So it looks kind of like this. You can keep it at a fat end, or you can create a small end for smaller details. You just basically start pulling away at the paper, and it just starts going around, you know, and start cleaning it away. Trying this one, but there's that. And then when it comes to erasing, I got this one. It's literally just sticks of eraser. I'm already running out of this one, but there's refills, and they're really easy for little small details and little corners that you may have gone too much with the pencil. And then if not, of course, a regular eraser just for big mistakes. But yeah, so now that I kind of explained that, we're gonna get started on croquis. And croquis, they kind of start off like this. So this is a basic look of a croquis. And then when it comes to croquis, when you start getting used to their postures and the proportions, you can start messing around with how they're, how they're kind of like posture, how they're standing. So you can leave them with a little bit of a hip up, you can leave them with the shoulders or side profile. There's also the head tilts if you want to follow the body with it or go away from the body. Let's see, there's also the hand gestures that matter, as well as features for the face. So something like this, you know, you can focus on the eyes, the nose, depending on which way they're looking, as well as the lips. Smile or no smile, depends on how detailed you want to get. But for now, we'll focus on bodies and proportions, and then I'll get to drawing some sketches out based off of this. Another one would be this one that really helps. I'm gonna get out a ruler. This one has 12, so I'm gonna try to focus on a 9 head, right? So let's say each head is about an inch, yeah? So then we're gonna focus on 9. All right, so first one is gonna be the head. So we'll draw the head. So now I guess to look at this one, you can kind of see how these shapes are similar. You have the oval, you have the rectangle, the 2 little triangles, and then we have the circles for the biceps, and then rectangles to create the rest of the arm, and a little circle or a little oval to create for the joint of the elbow, you know, to pivot this part to create it. Then we have the torso, which is going to be kind of like a trapezoid upside down, you know, and then we have the circles for the breasts, and then we have our other opposite of a trapezoid. You know, this one they gave it a little bit more shape, but it's a trapezoid as well here for the bottom part. And then of course here we go into the legs, but it's a rectangle. Just here you make them wider. Instead of keeping them straight, you make them wider. Then same thing here for the joint to move around, you know, to create a joint for the wrist and stuff. Then we have the knees, same for the fingers. This is what I mean by when people get detailed into drawing their croquis and their designs. They can focus on this, on every little detail of each finger, or they can just simply do lines to create these things, you know, like this one. I love this because I suck at drawing detail, especially when it's that tiny. Lines are your best friend like this, and it adds your own sense of style to your drawings. So it's whatever you pick up on, whatever you think is easy, or your sense of style, you use it. You can just pick up bits and pieces of it. And then to continue, you know, this one, this one separates it for you, this one doesn't. So this one, it's like, you know, a rectangle. Same thing with this one, it's wider on the legs. And then this one, same thing, wider here, and then wider again here, but there's no joint here. Don't do a joint because this is all connected. You don't have joints in the middle of your calf. And then here you have the little sockets for the ankles, and then after that your feet. This one doesn't get specific to the tip of the toes like this one does. This one does get specific, so this one, it actually brings it down. This one's long and this one's going to be short and continue like this because this is where your toe is. Some people have a longer middle toe, or sometimes they have it in closer so they can be like this. And then from there we can just kind of start sketching it out into the separate sections. So, you know, this one, it has it separated along the way with this one across. So this one has like the little tallies to create each one. So this is and then you see 9 creates the rest of it here. So then we're just kind of start matching it over. All right, then now that we're here, we have all the proportions. You kind of just start connecting it and start creating a shape. So it's kind of gonna be, you can do a little more like this one, you know, I created the shapes on the outside. Let's get rid of my lines here. Okay, so this one, you know, I created a little bit of a collarbone. Another one, let's see if this one overlaps with this one. Yes, you can probably or probably not kind of see it, but basically you start creating this look. Okay, so then from here we can kind of start adding a little more of what you like or what I would like. So for sure this will have to go. This is the kind of woman I want. I want her to be a little bit more thick, more curvy, not a stick. So from here, now we're gonna go on and we're gonna start kind of sketching out this stuff. I think I'm gonna go for this top, this look right here that I kind of created. So to create this one, you can kind of just start sketching right here. Let's go with the collar, and then here and down. And then we're gonna go around through the back, and let's see. So once we're here, you're gonna create a collar. And then if it has the little bow tie, this little like cowl thing, I'm gonna draw that first. So we're gonna go here, create this black, create it right there, and then this, that, create this. To create the ties. Okay, so then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and create the arm, shoulder, arm, and then I'm gonna create a little bit of here. And actually, pause it. All right, so you see what I like to do when it comes to this, to see the other side of it, like kind of like just make sure it looks kind of see-through the way this fabric is. I just kind of lightly just erase over it, because I mean I'm going to be coloring it eventually. Sometimes you don't want to color, it's understandable, but if you want to work with just the grayscale of the pencil, this is how it'll be. And then same thing goes for the neck. And then actually when it comes to ruffles and stuff, I like to do this little technique where I just kind of wave, like connect the lines down, and then I add a couple more near the bottom, but don't reach it all the way to the top. And then same thing goes for this one, create some that go all the way to the top, and then some between that are just smaller, and it creates a little bit of a shadow and a technique. I'll do a little bit of a close-up with this. Same thing goes for here, and then I'm just gonna bring the wave around so it looks like it's coming around the other side of the wrist. Same thing goes for this one, and then you're just gonna do little flicks up. Same thing with this one, little flicks, and here you can kind of bring them down so they kind of connect. Same thing, and then create a little ruffles here. Make sure the line is pretty bold so you can see where it ends and begins. And then here, when it comes to the bust, here it kind of has this like gathered form, so you go here, go across, and then here you're just going to create this circle motion. You're kind of hiding the bust, and then here there's this, it kind of goes up and down for this ruffle here, so then you're just going to create these little peaks like this, and then you're going to create a line across. And then little lines to kind of connect it. This kind of starts hiding once you start coloring, because, you know, instead of using all these little lines here and there, you're just going to be making very light strokes with the pencil and then going in and adding all these details with the color. So then you're just going to create little circle motions of these. Use the shape that it's going with to curve as your way to help make textures and to create a definition to the drawing. And then here, I'm gonna make her bottoms pants. So we're gonna make them skin tight. I guess we can make them, but when it reaches here, we'll make them a regular pant leg. So here and then here. So there, we created pants. Then we'll go here. Belly button's about here. So then okay. And then let's see. So women. So when you understand for buttons for women, basically the way it says is so you know which way the fabric kind of flaps over the other one to know which one is the right way. So women are always right. So you always flap over the right. That's for the buttonholes. So if a woman's always right, then this is the flap right here, here, and then this is gonna be the J that's created when you're sewing for the jeans, and then here. So then here, but these aren't jeans. I'm gonna make these kind of like slack style. So they're gonna be like that. And then here, the fabric will come across. Oh, no, that's the wrong curve. And then so with this like technique of a wave, you're gonna use it to help you create those little lines that go up. So every time the wave goes up, like, you know, it like curves down and up, you're gonna create the little streaks on each side. So it's gonna look kind of like this. So if you create the wave like that, imagine it going up, and then you're just gonna create little tallies here, boom, create them up, and then depending on how you curve them it helps create this like form of like a gathered right here, or it can form a wider one. It depends on how you want to make it, but it helps. And then to continue it around, you kind of want to bring them back to connect towards that dip that you had made before, because then if you want to do the back too, it's going to be like this. And then usually when you want to show the inside of something, you just kind of cross hatch it. If not like this, you go like this, and it creates a shadow. I'm gonna make this lighter under here. So that's the look. I want it simple, not too much. And then I guess if you want to add the shoes, you can add the shoes too. But these, they'll stay a little bit bulky. So here's the tongue of a boot. All right, and that's our girl. I made the look, that's this one. And then I can actually show you a little bit more techniques when it comes to this. I just need to change a little bit of the perspective, so let's change that. So the fact that I even like curved them in gives them that illusion that it's fanning out, you know, it's going outward, it's going out. So then you create this little fanning situation, and then you can create little tacks here. See, and it creates this illusion, and I love it. So then this can be focused on colors and other stuff, but you know, with this one we're sticking to basic black color, and then to bring it back around to create this illusion that it's on a dress form or a mannequin, where it's like ruffle like this, and it creates these little waves. I guess this comes to me a little more naturally now, but basically with these little waves, you're creating this little, and then depending on which way you're going, you can change the direction, you know, depends if you're going this way and you're curving, this way and you're curving. It all depends. And then, you know, first you start off with some long ones, then you start off with some little ones, long ones, little ones, long ones. And then you use that to help the direction, you know, go this way and that way. So you open it up in a curve, right? So this is one method, this is two, this is three. I'm gonna create a line, a zigzag line like this, across, and then here, and then out. So we're gonna create this like spanning, and then same thing for down. So it's gonna be a motion like this. I don't know, I don't like that. So I feel like this one would be better. See, this one kind of gives it that illusion that it's pinched right here at the center, and it's like just, and so it's letting it fan out without creating too much of a weird illusion like this one. So that one, and then you have the basic draping down from the waist. So it's the one that kind of continues here down here. Let's do it here-ish. So here. So then here, I kind of messed up here. I did a little bit of a funky thing here, but point is that this creates the inside of the fabric to the outside, you know, creates a little bit of the curves and the shapes. So I guess we could attempt it one more time. These little illusions of a curve, and it's a wavy fabric, so it's really nice. And then when it comes to jeans, I mean, you can make certain little creases that create the turn of the pants. So it could be something like, you know, if she was standing at an angle, she'd be with pants like this, and it creates that little crease, you know, that's in the front of the leg. And then even if it's for like jackets, the corners, it creates little peaks like this. And it creates the jackets. And you got the collars, depending on how you want the design. You know, the lapel will come out, and then you have a collar here, and it comes down. So it all depends on how your style is and how you want it, but that's pretty much it. That's the basics of ruffles and designs when it comes to moving, and depending on how you make your croquis, it all depends on how it's moving, that the fabric will move or lean a little more or move another bit of the other way. So it's pretty cool. Hey guys, thank you for staying with us and staying on this, you know, crazy trip of COVID and digital way of living. To find us, you can actually find us on social media. We have different platforms. Here's our LinkedIn tree that leads you to all of our social media platforms. Thank you for staying tuned in. And also, if you guys could please get in your registration forms, start getting them in. The more of you guys that come in, the more we can start our live classes. And if not our live classes, we can just kind of start, you know, getting you guys more into these videos, get more viewers. You guys can actually find classes like driver's ed, athletes, arts and crafts. There's also leadership, and as well as some other classes, and it all depends on you guys. If we can actually make more clubs, if you guys would like to see more, we can. So you can reach out to us at one of our social media platforms, and thank you guys. See you guys next week for more videos.